Hey everybody, I just wanted to go over a quick build video with you all. This is for Solo Flawless, Warlord's Ruin in Season of the Wish on Solar Warlock. The build that I'm going over is for Sunbracers, and it has Touch of Flame and Heat Rises. If you really love using Icarus Dash, this build will not work for you. You'll have to get over that part if you want to use this build. But the core gameplay loop of this build revolves around keeping heat rises up. And in turn, while you have heat rises, your Phoenix Dive will give you restoration ×2. So you'll pretty much be immortal the entire time as long as you can keep restoration and heat rises up the entire time. I will show you how to do that. It's pretty straightforward. But let me go over the aspects, fragments, and abilities real quick. First up is Touch of Flame. This will enhance your solar nades. Has blobs of lava that pop out of the nade. Pretty great. Highly recommend using this. Next up is Heat Rises. Heat Rises, you can long press on your grenade, and it will cure you, and then give you 15 seconds of Heat Rises. While you're airborne, it'll also fill up your melee energy. You can just snap the ground into a group of enemies and jump, and it will fully refund your melee. So Heat Rises is definitely great with Sunbracers because you can just get your snap back so fast. And finally, we've got Phoenix Dive. So while Heat Rises is active, you can use Phoenix Dive. It will scorch enemies near where you land, and it'll also give you restoration ×2. This is the very strong part of this build, and I'll show you how strong it is real quickly. Fragments, I'm running Ashes to apply more stacks of Scorch. Resolve to have my Solar Nades cure me. Singeing to get Phoenix Dive back, because as I'm defeating Scorched targets, I get my class ability back, and this gives me the ability to get Restoration. And then Ember of Empyrean, which will extend Restoration and Radiant when I get Final Blows. Now for the weapons. In this dungeon, for first encounter, I like to use Zali's Bane, Witherhoard, and a rocket. You can use whatever you want. You could use a sword, you could use Acreus if you want. Doesn't really matter, you could use Dragon's Breath. I use Dragon's Breath for the Ogre boss, and then I use Surrounded Briars for Final Boss. Because there are some scions that spawn. You can drop a well, and then you can damage the boss. Surrounded works great there. Make sure that your Surrounded has enhanced, because that raises the damage by quite a bit if you're going to use this weapon. Also, Taken Spec. It works on the second and third encounter. So throw Taken Spec on. Boss Spec is a 7% damage bonus. Taken Spec is a 10% damage bonus. So use that on your DPS weapons. Don't underestimate it. It's very good. I think you get that from Last Wish. Someone correct me in the comments if that's not how you get it. So Sunshot works very well for this dungeon. The artifact perks that you want, Rays of Precision, Revitalizing Blast, Heart of the Flame, Flint Striker, Kindling Trigger, all of these are amazing. Especially Radiant causing solar weapons to scorch. That works great for Ember of Singeing that I showed you earlier. This one. So if you're ever low on your class ability, you just proc Radiant by hitting a couple of precision hits with your hand cannon, and then you start scorching enemies. Also, if you have a Zali's Bane, you can have Incandescent, which also applies Scorch. So more ways to get your class ability back. Before I move on to the gameplay footage, just make sure that you also have Solo Operative and From Whence You Came on your artifact. These both increase your damage in this dungeon by a lot. So From Whence You Came, the whole dungeon is taken and scorn, so you'll want this. Also, Solo Operative increases your output of damage by 15% while you're the only member of your fire team. So make sure you have this on. This one is a big one. It's not just to bosses, it's to everything. So make sure you have this one on. All right, now for the gameplay loop. I'll go over this real quick just to show you guys what to look out for. So when you start any of the encounters, first thing you want to do is find the spawn of some adds, pop heat rises, and then get the restoration up. So you want to pop heat rises and then Phoenix Dive to get restoration. Next thing you want to focus on is keeping heat rises and restoration up by just constantly killing stuff. And you can keep heat rises up by jumping and killing stuff or floating and killing stuff. And then with Sunbracers, you can start getting nades down on the ground. Your nades will also count for kills for heat rises to get your melee back. As you can see, I have my melee back already. The nades also cure you, so that is also great. In any of the damage phases, you can snap, throw nades. As you can see, the nades are weakening because of revitalizing blast from the artifact. Sorry about that. And now my heat rise is still up. Just need to wait for some adds to spawn. I hear some adds spawning over here. There we go. Heat rise is back up to full. Restoration's up. And we're chilling. One more thing that I wanted to show you guys is when you have restoration up, you want to look out for this this one thing, which is canceling out your restoration timer by accidentally Phoenix Diving. So as you can see, my restoration timer is 9 seconds right now. By Phoenix Dive, it resets at 3 seconds. So you need to make sure that if you Phoenix Dive, you get a kill immediately. Or else you might end up dying because you run out of restoration. So just only Phoenix Dive if you're out of the restoration. So that's pretty much the gameplay loop. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave some questions in the comments. And good luck with your solo flawlesses. Just realized this while I was editing. I forgot to mention that I have a full video of my solo flawless run on Solar Warlock. If you guys want to check that out to see what I did in certain encounters, how I played it, what I did for DPS, how I stayed alive, go check that out. I'll link that video at the end of this one. So you should be able to click it on either the bottom left or bottom right. I'm not sure which one it is. But check that out if you are curious. Thanks for watching.